say builders, contractors represent 3/10 of licensed contractors in California, but have the distinction of having incurred 24% of labor violations in the state. Is that factually accurate? And if it is accurate, how can you say it's being discriminatory against the group that's now 24% of the infraction?
I'm sorry, what does that question have to do with anything about what we're talking about today? I mean, the labor leaders, the union boss is right here. He could have asked the question instead of having you do it.
Okay, then I have another question. Do you support the contiguous expansion of the convention center? And if you did, how is that going to be done with non-union labor?
Non-union labor and union labor work side by side to build every project in this town, except where they're discriminated against. $1 billion airport, a $330 million parking rental car facility, these buildings. See, there's two sides to this. The one side, they can't stand the fact, Tom's side, that 85% of the construction workforce doesn't want to work for him. They want to work in a union-free environment. Tom can't stand that. So what Tom does is put things in the way to allow them not to have work. Our side believes that non-union and union alike should be able to bid things, that they both build world-class products, and that they should both have a shot at building something that's going to benefit all San Diegans. In other words, Tom's a bigot. We're open-minded about these things. That's just the world we live in. But since the Chargers have chosen to side with Tom on this, and this form of bigotry and exclusion, we're going to go to war over it, and they're going to lose. Just like we did when we banned project labor agreements. 58% of San Diegans voted to ban project labor agreements. They get it. The Chargers apparently don't, but they'll learn. And then we'll come back and we can start over again.
But factually,
is there somebody else that wants to ask this question?
How about where do you guys go from here? You guys talk with the Chargers, city, where do you guys go from here?
Obviously there has been outreach. I'm assuming that once they get the signatures, which I'm sure that they will, then it will be put on the ballot, and at that point there will be an aggressive campaign against it. So I would say that's probably the next step, unless the Chargers have a change of heart, which so far they haven't. Yes, sir.
So if the voters have banned PLAs, why is this still an issue?
Great question. So right now there's a question, and that's something that will be adjudicated as to whether or not this is even legal. See, there isn't even a project labor agreement yet. There was a announcement that there would be a project labor agreement on this project, and that's something between the Chargers and the unions. Well, that's something that we believe the law precludes, but we're not even going to risk that. We're going to try and kill the initiative while that's adjudicated.
Why do you think the law precludes it? Because there'd be public money involved in the construction.
Right.
Hasn't there been state Supreme Court cases on PLAs, and where does that stand right now?
There was there's been a state Supreme Court case on project labor agreements that are used on publicly funded projects, and they ruled that so long as they are able to allow quote-unquote everyone to bid, that they're legal. But see, understand that this would be a private project labor agreement that would explicitly forbid non-union contractors.
You draw a distinction between this one and the one with the school district. Could you elaborate on that?
They're both wrong, they're both horrible, they're both discriminatory. One's implicitly so, one's explicitly discriminatory. It's like the Petco PLA. Petco was built under a PLA that explicitly forbid non-union contractors. The unions would like to do that on publicly funded projects, all of them, but they have to be a little bit more leery of the law that actually says you can't just discriminate against people explicitly. So they put in hurdles that make it more difficult. So I know it's a bit of an arcane issue, but there is a difference.
So the Petco and the school district one are similar, and this one would be different than those two?
No, the Petco and the school district are similar in their intent, but they're actually crafted separately, and the Petco explicitly said it would only be union workers.
Petco said that. Was the school district explicit it would only be union workers?
No, what they say is, well, you can be non-union, but you have to pay union dues, pay into union health, welfare, and pension plans, be hired through a union hiring hall, and etc. So,
and which is this one more similar to, the school district
Petco.
or Petco?
Well, it's not crafted yet, but we assume it would be like Petco. Any other questions?
Yes, this has been going on for a long time.
Right.
It's not the first time in that way. Are you guys doing anything legally and statewide with the law and the construction about the discriminatory issue being as discriminatory rather than any other point of view?
Yes, absolutely. We're fighting this on many fronts, but right now we're here today to talk about the stadium and what their plans are for the stadium. And we believe that Prop A, which was passed in 2012, probably precludes this from even happening. So what we're doing is we're going to the voters and we're passing laws that ban project labor agreements, but we're also fighting it legally. And but right now, to be honest, what we're doing is just expressing our outrage right now, collectively as a group of non-union construction companies, owners, contractors, and apprentices. So we're fighting this on a variety of levels, you know, all the time around the state.
Why do you think the Chargers went this direction? Was it to get support for organized labor for their initiative?
I think that somebody was sold a bill of goods that frankly borders on just the asinine. I don't understand it at all, because all they've guaranteed is going to happen now is there's going to be a level of opposition to an already controversial ballot measure, should this make it, that already has lots of opposition for a variety of reasons. You know, the amount of money that the owners are putting in versus the taxpayers, the size of the project, the location of the project. And what they did in that press conference, if you saw it, was insult all of these people and say, you're not good enough to work on our project. Now let's go collect our signatures and put it on the ballot. It's the strangest thing I've ever seen. It's almost like we're thinking they don't even really want to be here.
Well, but are you thinking that their guess was that support from organized labor would be something pivotal to the success of it, and they miscalculated?
You know, he's right behind you, and that would be a question that I'm sure he'd love to answer.
Okay.
I think they've miscalculated, though, because as we showed with Proposition A, organized labor, very politically powerful, but at the end of the day, this issue isn't even close when it comes to what the voters feel about it.
So you feel that this isn't a political issue for you?
For me?
Yeah.
I would rather be 100 different places right now, and every single one of them would rather be working. I don't want to be here saying I don't want to build something. I hate it. That's not what my guys want to do. They want to build. But when you're insulted and told you're not good enough to work on their projects when you can build this or $1 billion airport, what's that about? It's
a week before the election. It has nothing to do with
what election? This isn't on the ballot. This isn't on the ballot in June. Yeah, no. This would be a. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this would be a November issue.
Yes,
yeah. So. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll check next time. We just picked a day that worked well for everybody. It's hard to get people off their jobs. You know, frankly, we can't just order a bunch of guys out of the union hall to come down here and stand here for an hour. We have to ask owners to do it. So the timing is, as you know, it doesn't impact the election at all. Yeah, exactly. These guys are all working. So the timing is what it is, but it doesn't impact the June election at all. So anything else, folks? All right, well, thank you for your time. Call us with any questions. Appreciate you being here.